Thank you. So we have our first panel now. Our moderator is Charmaine Tan, our Chief Growth Officer. She is an author of 3 cyber books and a founder of different executive and cyber communities. And community, there's that word again. We very much believe that to be part of a community is a good thing in raising awareness. Joining her is Matt Neubauer, the CIO from Morgan's Financial. Berin has only told me to entitle him as the security guy from Toll Group. So that's all I'm going to do. I'm checking he's smiling. He is. And Sarah Abak from IntelliHub, who is both the CISO and Chief Privacy Officer. So with amazing timing, everybody is here and I can get off the stage.
All right. Well, I need all the wizards here to please collect a magic wand from the lovely assistant, Megan.
Love it.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I'll just have one. Thank you. So, in the spirit of where we are and the fact that cyber leaders are creative and not boring people, so we thought we will welcome you to a fantastic panel session where we call it the Magical Illusions and Reality of Business Resilience. So I'm really excited because I'm in the presence of very experienced, expert thought leaders, as we are all here as well in a room filled of amazing leaders here. And we're going to do something interesting. I know they look really nervous. Don't worry. So all of you here are wizards, right? We're going to have, how is it going to work? Is that there will be 3 different rounds. The first round is, we will talk a bit more about the illusions, the common illusions that we see in the cyber industry. The second round, again, quick rapid fire questions about the reality of it. And the final round, we will have a bit more time to go into the discussions. And we talk about the magical, the wishes that we have as wizards, right? If we could twirl a wand and change certain things, what is that going to look like? Okay, so we're all in for a treat. Let's start off with first rapid fire questions, okay? Raise your wand and twirl if you want to answer. Okay, most common illusion businesses have about their supply chain resilience.
I'll twirl my one first.
Yes.
Let's go. I would say that there's the illusion that your supply chain is more secure than your business. So when you're engaging a lot of providers and vendors, there's the assumption that they've got their security in check and in order. So I'd say it's just important to make sure you're reviewing that.
Nice, Matt. Meant to be a few words. We will have time to expand
Sorry,
later.
too many.
Very good. Sarah?
I would say probably a false sense of security thinking. Yeah, we've got it covered.
Okay, nice.
And more specifically, that for any given critical provider, someone's got them under control from a resilience perspective in the org.
Yeah, good one.
That's a good one. Next, most ridiculous cybersecurity myth you have ever heard. Raise your wand.
Can I give you a couple?
Oh, gosh.
The first one to raise the wand will
Oh,
answer.
there you go.
All right,
you go
Barry.
first.
That we can teach people not to click on links.
Yes.
I don't know why we think that. That the basics are easy and that it's okay to blame the victim.
Wands? Yes, Sarah.
I don't know if I could beat that. I would say definitely that it's a security team's problem, an IT problem.
Oh, I think that's
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
completely
cool.
agree with that.
Go
Yeah.
try and beat that.
You stole my one. That was my one. That it's not an all of business or an all of organisation concern, and that really security is everyone's business.
That's a common myth. That's true, and that's ridiculous. All right, biggest illusion most businesses have about data breaches. Yes, Sarah.
Oh, it wouldn't be that bad. We don't really have a lot to lose, usually.
Yep, heard that one.
That it's caused by a technical failing.
That's true. Baron.
that it's the most important thing we have to worry about.
Okay, maybe you might expand on that later on. I'll come back to you. Fill in the blanks. Most businesses believe that blank is the biggest threat to their security, but in reality, it is blank. Sarah, read out the whole
I'll
sentence.
say ransomware. However, the actual biggest threat is humans.
Nice. Good that you went first. Matt.
Yeah, that was. Well, I would say
Just
more
filling all your
so.
answers.
I know, I should have been quicker. I'd say more so external threat actors than their own employees.
Yep.
Good one. Baron.
X and Y. I've found that every organisation has some idea that X is their biggest threat, and it's almost always something different, and it's Y.
Nicely put. True or false? The illusion of safety is often more dangerous than the reality of the threat.
True.
Yeah. True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
6. The term business resilience is just an illusion created by the corporate world.
False.
False.
Yeah, false.
Okay, now is the wizard's time. So you get to choose your potion. Spelling error, potion. So you have to pick one of the 6 that you want to expand on, okay? And if you want to select your number, you got to draw it out, okay, with your wand. So if you choose biggest threat, draw number 4. Okay, who's ready?
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat the instructions?
So earlier we had a lot of fast questions. If there's one that you want to expand a little bit on, you can pick that. Everyone only can choose one.
Okay.
So I'll start. I can't remember which one it was. Data breaches 3.
Okay.
I feel like something in Harry Potter. I've been listening to the Harry Potter audio book, so this is feeling very on point for me.
Did you do a 3?
Right,
Yes.
I did.
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
It
Good. You were
wasn't
so
very
quick.
good,
I
but
didn't
it was a
see.
3. Data breaches. I think one of the things I find really interesting about the conversation about data breaches with senior executives and senior leadership, it's a really easy conversation. Yeah, so everyone gets, data, right? We've got to look after our data, and so and everyone talks to board members about because of things like GDPR, their accountabilities under data. But if you look at what actually really hurts an organisation when there is a major cyber breach, sometimes it's data. More often, it's operational disruption. And so that's hence my thing about data breaches is, sure, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying data isn't important and we shouldn't be thinking about it, but I love to see it when an organisation has actually put some deep thought into what is the thing that matters in my organisation that I need to protect. So the simple example I always use is banks. I've worked in banks and financial institutions, and everyone talks about banks like they've got to worry about the data security of their customers. They absolutely do. It's incredibly important. I'll tell you right now, the thing that will bring Australia to its knees is an operational disruption of the transactional banking systems. A data breach won't. It will hurt a lot. You take down the operational transactional systems,
That's true.
you will kill the economy in the country. So that really understanding what matters in your org, I think, is possibly one of the most important things that a cyber leader can do.
I love that. You have to reframing it as well. It's beyond the data breaches, but what's the actual implication, the outcome of that powerful, very powerful wizard. All right, Matt.
Let's go. I'll do 6.
6?
Business
Okay.
resiliency.
Business
That's a
resilience.
great lead on from that
I
one.
got told off by 3, so
I guess the concept of business resiliency, you see some organisations that have done it well historically and some that haven't. What I'm really excited by is now you're seeing a lot of regulators now starting to enforce requirements around it. So for us in financial services, it's ASIC. And so now they've got this concept of critical business systems and services, and having to identify those systems and services, and making sure that you have a really thought out, thorough plan around it. What you tend to see, especially historically with a lot of these business resiliency plans is, they might have a plan, they might not have a plan, but then, who's driving it, who's owning that plan? And so a lot of the time you'd see that driven by IT. And so now we're starting to see a lot more businesses, with ownership driven from that business lens, starting to be really concerned about business resiliency and what does it mean. And that feeds into your point around, the banking and the transaction aspect of it. But then probably more importantly, making sure that you've actually tested your business resiliency. Because a lot of it seems to be, a bit of a box ticking exercise to say, I've got a plan and it's really well thought out, but when's the last time that you've actually put that into effect? And not just from a technology standpoint, but with people, process and technology, and making sure that you've got that covered off.
Definitely an iterative process, cycle, I would say. Sarah?
I'll select supply chain resilience because I think it's...
Number.
Oh.
There we go.
That was a good one.
I think just leading back from, I guess, on to the presentation that Prashant also did as well, I think what's important is you are probably as strong or resilient as the supplier who you're depending on. So just understanding, going back to both points around what is critical and what is important to you, and then protecting that is, important. I think from a supply chain perspective, you need to ensure that whatever vendors or suppliers or partners that you have who also can bring you down, and impact your operations or availability to provide a service is just as critical as your actual posture as well from a security or privacy perspective. So in the case of, people who, organizations that rely on products, for example, it's important for them to be also secure. Your supply chain needs to be secure as well so that you can, I guess, be resilient as well.
Yes.
So you could be as resilient as you can, but if you're dependent on particular suppliers for something and they're not as resilient, then you've got a bit of a problem there.
Yeah, definitely. Because at the end of the day, we're all part of an ecosystem and no one can really delegate the accountability. So we have to work together, and having good partners is definitely important. All right, back to a rapid fire session again. So now we address the reality of business resilience, right? So let's talk about reality of it. True or false? The reality of being a security leader is that you spend more time managing people than managing systems.
True.
True.
True, but take security out of that sentence.
Yeah.
Can expand on that. Okay, true or false? Small businesses are less likely to be targeted by cyber attacks than large corporations.
False.
False.
Yeah, that's an easy one.
True.
Ooh.
Ooh. Do you want to expand on that, Erin? Give you a bit of time now.
It's the wording, right?
Okay.
Targeted to me implies a focus. The reality is, if a threat actor is interested in someone, it is likely to have something of value to the threat actor. Most of the time in today's world, much more than it was 10 years ago, that is money. That will generally be large corporations. That does not mean small organisations aren't being hit by things, but that tends to be more drive-by.
That's a good point, actually. True or false? The majority of data breaches are immediately detected by companies being targeted.
False.
False.
Yeah, all agree on that. True or false? Public cloud services are less secure than private cloud services?
I would say false.
False.
Depends on the wording.
Shades of grey, right?
Yeah.
I've seen people implement public cloud services abominably.
Yeah, I think there's more opportunity for misconfiguration in public cloud for sure.
I think there's more that can go wrong when you misconfigure directly. Yes, I'll agree with that.
Most critical component of a business resilience plan that's often overlooked?
People.
Practice. Practicing, doing a simulation.
Rehearsing over and over again. Yes, that muscle memory.
I've got a bunch.
Go ahead, Aaron.
You've only got 1 minute now.
Yeah, so a very quick bunch. I'll just give you two. One is what actually matters. So I think what you were both talking about before about understanding what's important in business resilience. Actually, I don't think most businesses do.
Yeah.
If you want to understand, go and talk to your CFO and think Maslow's hierarchy of need, right? What matters? What will actually kill your company if it doesn't work? And then the second is you will probably, in a cyber event, be running your business resilience without IT. And most companies, you look at any business resilience, a BCP, and it will say, IT will do this for me. No, they won't.
Thank you for sharing that. Last one, true or false? Cyber insurance is a sufficient safety net for businesses and reduces the need for investing heavily in some aspects of cybersecurity.
False.
I would say false, but I can, qualify it.
Yes, all right.
Qualify it.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the size of the business. It depends on, the assets that you're going to lose. For example, if you've got to build a whole production environment or something, it might cost you $10 million to redo it, so it might make sense. But yeah, and also the amount of effort and investment, not just time, people, all of that goes into actually submitting a cyber insurance claim or application and claim
100%.
is so underrated. It just takes a huge, as Noel was saying, a whole village to prepare it and submit it. So that would be my explanation.
Very good point.
What she said.
Yeah. Okay, now we're going to
I
give
think that's spot on.
you... Oh, one more. Okay, most helpful way a partner can help your goals in overcoming the reality of cyber threats.
I've got a few, but I would say overall, like advocacy and probably thought leadership as well, like being ahead and being able to know what is happening out there, and the breadth of experience that they have, and I guess that's the value they create, so that you can, I guess, be proactive in whatever you're doing, so that you're not searching yourself. Your partners are, your advocates and advisors,
Yep.
and
Like a
thought
team
leaders
sport.
as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say it's that whole concept of the out-of-town expert with the briefcase, because a lot of the time you're presenting to your own boards and they've got a perspective around what what your level of expertise is, maybe how connected you are in the industry. When you get someone externally even saying the same thing as what you've been telling them, it hits a bit differently. So definitely, to your point as well, if they have that breadth of experience and I guess more of that reputation on the market, then the board does also sit up and listen a bit more, because it's someone that they're not used to presenting to them around the similar things.
The credibility
Yeah,
that
that's
they
it.
bring,
Yep.
that's great.
Yeah, it's a sad thing, right? They say they don't listen to the internal people, and then you hire someone externally to say the exact same thing, and then things get done. But it's about leveraging off, the different strength of the partners as well. Baron.
I think a really good partner calls you on your bullshit.
Ooh, good one.
I find the really good partners I work with are able to come into the organisation and go, you think you're okay over here, actually you're not, because they've got a different perspective and outside view, but they still know enough about your organisation. So it's the really good ones are brutally honest with me in a constructive way.
Yeah, that's
But
important.
but yes.
That's good. I think I can see all the partners taking notes. Very, very valuable. Okay, Wizards Wisdom time. Now you choose your potion. We just pick one, A or B. All right. If you're choosing A, put your wand up. If you're choosing B, put it down. Okay. So first one, as a CISO or CIO, what is one cybersecurity solution that sounded like magic when you first heard about it? Or you can choose to tackle what is a common misconception businesses have about the solutions provided by security vendors.
Do I go up or
Yes,
down?
go up if you're picking
Up
A
for
and down
for
if
A.
you're B.
I would say when I heard about browser isolation, and that if people
Yeah.
click on something, it's not going to infect the internal network. I just thought, oh my God, who thought of that?
That's a nice one, Matt.
From a technology standpoint, I'd say micro-segmentation. When I first saw that in terms of the scale and what you're able to implement from a dynamic policy standpoint, felt like magic.
I think I was also doing micro-segmentation. I'm really happy. All right, Baron.
So what was B? I'll go with B then.
Common misconception that businesses have about solutions provided by security vendors.
Oh, that it'll just work. That absolutely kills me.
Sorry, what?
We'll put this in and it'll just work.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or that you fully utilise it straight away.
They could be over dramatizing your position, as you said, being honest, to sell you some extra products as well, right?
okay, we'll have time to talk a little bit more because we're going to the final session now, which is the magical part of it. If you can instantaneously eliminate one type of cyber threat forever, which one would that be? And this is the time I want you to press the button. So yes, there is a button, there's light and there's noise. So this is the part I want you to, wave your wand, say abracadabra, or I don't know which Harry Potter, Illuminus or something like that. One of your favorite chants, and then mention what is that one threat you're going to eliminate.
That's pretty cool, actually.
This is funny.
I would say phishing. And just in terms of not just the impact that it has within the corporate landscape, but how it affects individuals, and it's particularly brutal to those that are uneducated around cybersecurity, whether that's the elderly or people that are less computer literate, and the impact that it has to them in their own lives.
Thanks, Matt. I like the fact you're really in character as well. Next.
I would say, sorry to be brutal, but maybe Windows vulnerabilities. Just make them all disappear.
Okay, any comment? No? All right, Baron.
I refuse.
No, because he's already a wizard. He doesn't need it.
So I'm going to be a bit philosophical. If I could stop one thing that's happened in recent years, it's organised crime moving into cyber. I've watched, and please don't think I'm romanticising what cyber was 30 years ago. I'm not. It's been a really serious issue for a very long time. But I've watched some of the tactics being used by cybercrime, particularly with things like publishing health credentials and things like that, and just gone, this is moved from being almost an academic thing that we worry about as technical people into this is a really nasty space now. And we're not playing with, hey, we're stopping an outbreak of a virus this weekend. We're actually playing with protecting stuff that really matters to life, to limb, to happiness. If I could move back in time and just prevent that, I would do it.
Wow. That's a big topic probably for another session. But very meaningful, Baron, if we can all do that together. But we all have the same mission, so we are not alone. I would say we can start with the present and continue with the future. Last two questions. If you can magically instill one habit in your employees to make businesses more resilient, what would that be? Thank you, Matt.
Like this. Yeah. I would say it's that if people were just more curious around how things are achieved, how they're using systems and processes on a day-to-day basis. Often someone has to come forward to really coax that out of them to go, if this didn't exist tomorrow, how would you achieve the same outcome, and how would you still be able to do your job? So if we had more curiosity embedded in the workplace and individuals, that would be a much easier process to construct that resiliency.
Yeah, that's a good one. I would definitely say, as basic as it might sound, stopping and thinking. I feel like post the pandemic, even myself, I feel that I need to actually remind myself to stop and think. I need thinking time. So I think it'd be great if all employees could just have thinking time before they do anything. We're just on automatic pilot all the time.
Yeah, that's true. Something simple could actually be quite a game changer. Actually, Baron.
So that's my thing exactly. If what I've always found is, do you know the common thing when someone says, I clicked on a link, it was, I was in the middle of something, I was moving quickly, I clicked on the link and then I went, oh. And if they just injected that 3 seconds, like I've never had anyone come to me and go, yeah, I thought about it and then I decided to click on the really suspicious link.
Yeah, we've lost it, haven't we? It's like the last couple of years, it's just gotten worse.
People just get into the,
That's a good idea for a campaign, perhaps, a security awareness campaign. Final question. If you could transform one aspect of the relationship between security, tech partners, and their customers, what would that be? I know we've addressed a little bit about it, but if you could transform it to look a bit differently. Excellent, Matt.
I may have lived this down.
I would say, to your point around implementation, it would be around how an organisation or company is actually adopting the technology or the solutions that the partner's providing, rather than just the transactional aspect of I'm buying a solution off you in the hopes that it will solve the problem I'm trying to solve.
Mm-hmm. And given this is the last question as well, if you have any other inputs you want to mention here, feel free. Sarah, Baron?
Maybe I'll wait for...
Okay, Baron?
You can go for it.
You go for it.
So it would be, and please, people don't, I'm going to sound a bit pejorative for a second. It would be transparency, and I mean it both ways. I find the more transparent you are with a partner, and I use that word partner very carefully. I only have a couple of people, or a couple of companies I consider partners in the stable of people who work with Toll. The more transparent I am about the reality of my world, the more the partner can help me. But the flip side is also true. The more transparent the partner is about their capabilities, their products or whatever, and what will work and what won't work, the more chances are we will be successful in what we do with each other. And as I said, it sounds pejorative, but I just find there's a natural... We tend not to be as transparent as we could be with each other.
I think that you hit the nail on the head, though. That's very, very crucial. In any relationship, there needs to be trust, and trust is established if there's transparency and there's integrity as well. And nobody can do everything, so it's just about being honest about it and working together to create that ideal situation that we're looking at. Sarah, thank you, Baron.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Probably, I would say, taking a active interest in what is important to the organisation or the business, not just, I think having that deep understanding and developing that understanding about our information assets, whether it's system, data, whatever it might be, and going back to the, like the materiality discussion around what would impact us. And I think just understanding that, as weird as it sounds, caring about our business as much as we do, and demonstrating that and applying that in their discussions and recommendations, I think is really good, rather than giving us generic things, which most people would report if you're just like a transaction. So I think that would be helpful.
Amen. And if I could stop to all the partners in the room. If I could stop one thing, it's people coming in and telling me how to do my job.
Oh, gosh.
The number of companies that come in and start telling me about these things called threat actors.
Let's make them go away.
But seriously, come in. Again, an assumption of capability both ways. And working with each other with that fundamental assumption. It's a big deal.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for being so honest as well and transparent in sharing. I think it's very invaluable. And we have a good mix here of partners, customers, friends, industry friends, CISOs, CIOs, all in a room. So we are amongst friends. And I just wanted to say thank you for this amazing time that we can have a little bit of fun, but also talk about real things. Matt, thank you for flying in from Brisbane, Sarah and Baron from Melbourne to join us today. We are really, really thankful. Thank you for this session. I'm going to hand it back to Nick, and he will brief you guys. Oh, let's have a quick photo. Wave your wand.